on earth have we just watched? Barcelona 4, Atletico Madrid 4 in the first leg of the Copa del Rey, and at the 85th minute I actually thought the game was over. But with Atletico Madrid, one thing I know under Diego Simeone is that the game is not over until the whistle goes. Another Alexander Soloff dagger against Barcelona this season, and boy oh boy, this is shaping up to be an exciting second leg at Madrid in about a month and a bit. So be sure to hit the like button, be sure to subscribe. We've got so much to talk about. So let's start with, for me, the star boy always. I have to speak about Lamine Yamal. And as a Manchester United fan, guys, I am so envious of what Barcelona are producing. Not just what they're producing in terms of the talent, but in terms of the role that they have in the first team. You got Kubasi and you got Yamal, for me, who are the standouts right now. You got Pedri as well, another phenomenal player for Barcelona, and just how important they are for the first team. But Yamal today gets the assist for the Lewandowski goal, but even without that assist, he was still influential, and every time he gets on the ball, he is a threat. Today he had Galán on skates throughout most of the first half. Actually, throughout the entire first half, he had him on skates. I don't even know how Galán didn't get taken off before the second half actually started. Eventually he did, but Lamine Yamal had him in his pocket all day, toying with him on the ball. And one thing I realized is that opponents can do the most to try and stop Lamine Yamal, but they can't. And I'm actually kind of concerned about him, because you saw it in the Las Palmas game in terms of the fact that he was getting fouled a lot, and a lot of the calls were not going his way. It happened today as well, getting fouled quite a bit, not going his way. For a young player, listen, he's only 17. He's played over 100 senior games for both international and club level, and he's probably going to play a lot more games if he's able to stay fit. But refs have to do their part in terms of making sure that he doesn't get a serious injury, because 90% of the time when teams cannot get to him, get the ball off him, they just foul him and they bring him down. And that's actually one of his better traits, in terms of the fact that no one can get the ball off him. He's just that good on the ball. And it's not just his ability on the ball for me, Lamine Yamal. He's only 17, like I said, and he's only going to get better. I can't imagine what he'll be like when he probably peaks at an earlier age than a lot of people, but it's just his understanding of the game. He knows when to play the right pass, what type of pass to play, when to kind of dribble and run at a player, when to go for, a diagonal pass, when to, go back to Koundé instead. He knows when to do all this stuff, and that is IQ, that's intelligence that you cannot teach. I think you've either got it or you don't, and that's what makes me, to be honest, that's what makes me look at him and why he stands out to me in comparison to other wingers in European football right now that probably have a lot more experience under their belt than Lamine Yamal. That's the standout traits that he has today. Immense on the ball, consistently a threat, getting at his man, getting at his players, to a point where Atletico were kind of doubling up on him. They were getting Gallagher to support Galán in the first half just to kind of force Yamal off the ball. But enough about Lamine Yamal. Let's also talk about another young player that I think is having an explosive season. Julian Alvarez at Atletico, managing to redeem himself. At City, I always thought he was a good player. Just playing second fiddle to Haaland just didn't work for him. And I think actually today was the perfect game in terms of the system that he's coming up against. And his ability to link up with the players behind him. Griezmann playing an important role, and De Paul playing an important role. But Barcelona's high line can be exploited by a player like Julian Alvarez, and I think that's how Diego Simeone set up today. My only issue when I watched Atletico today in particular is that it seemed like when they went 2-0 up, it became a passive performance for them. They were happy to just potentially sit back for the rest of the 85 minutes and just sit back in a low block and just try to keep hitting Barcelona on the counter. It's only really in the second half where I feel like they were stepping it up into gear 2, into gear 3, trying to go for those extra goals. And like I said, with Atletico under Diego Simeone, the game is not over until the whistle goes. And again, Alexander Soloff with that dagger against Barca to set up for what's going to be a phenomenal second leg, if I'm being honest. But actually, let's talk about the game changer for me, the guy that was at everything. He might not had all the assists, but he was at the heart of everything that was happening for Barcelona, and that is none other than Pedri. Listen to me, guys. Listen to me. Pedri is one of the best midfielders in European football right now, and I actually don't know why he does not get the respect he deserves and the accolades that he deserves, the praise that he deserves. I don't know, when we talk about the top 5 or top 10 midfielders in European football right now, he should be up there in the levels 1, 2 and 3. He should be in and around that top 3, and that's my honest opinion today. And just this season, how important he's been for Barcelona, you know, especially in a team like against a team like Atletico, who play quite deep, who quite play, you know, in comparison to what Barcelona play, who play a very high line. Pedri's ability to, you know, pull the strings from deep, where I don't even think Frankie de Jong in the first 20 minutes had the best performance, but the fact that he had Pedri next to him to kind of wipe away those mistakes or those errors that he was making, and even, you know, in the first half, in terms of the goals that Barcelona were producing, Pedri getting into those little tight half spaces in front of Atletico's front line, you know, his ability to keep the ball at close proximity, close to his body, it makes it difficult for opponents to get the ball off him. And like I said, in midfield, when he's playing in that deeper role, his ability to play those, you know, switching passes, those, you know, threaded passes through the middle to find multiple different players in different parts of the pitch. He's so elegant, he's so exquisite, and he's such a good midfielder on and off the ball. I think defensively, his duels as well today, he was so important winning his ground duels. You know, in terms of out of possession for Barcelona, that was a very integral part for them in that midfield. Despite the fact the game ended 4-4, I think it was a highlight that Barcelona fans could probably walk away with and think, you know what, I was happy with Pedri's performance. I think he was the man of the match for Barcelona. And another player I think doesn't get enough respect, I'm sure today will probably open people's eyes, but Rafinha, I don't know why he's not in the Ballon d'Or conversations. And, you know, 41 goal involvements today, 2 assists by the way, 41 goal involvements in all competitions this season in about 37 or 38 games. And I keep saying this, the Ballon d'Or winner is going to go, I think, to the person who wins the Champions League. If Barcelona win it, I think Rafinha has a rightful argument for the Ballon d'Or. If Real Madrid win it, I think Kylian Mbappe has a rightful argument to win it. If Liverpool win it, I think Mohamed Salah has a rightful argument to win the Ballon d'Or. I genuinely think that the winner of the Ballon d'Or will go to whoever wins the Champions League in terms of Real Madrid, Barca and Liverpool. And I actually think Barca's path to the Champions League, and that's why I say the quadruple could be on for them. I think Barca's path to the Champions League final is a very reasonable one, especially in the early stages of the knockouts. They got Benfica, they could get, I think, Dortmund in the next round, and then Inter Milan, who I think will be a tough matchup for them, but I think that they could probably get past them. But I do think that Barcelona could be the UEFA Champions League winners, and I think also UEFA might be setting out for a Real Madrid Barca final. That would be very exciting if that's possibly the case, or even if they meet Liverpool in the final as well. But if Hansi Flick is able to pull off the quadruple in his first season with Barcelona, that will probably be one of the best debut seasons I've seen for a manager in quite some time. And doing it with this squad is a great squad. It's a great squad that's been assembled. You know, you got Kubasi, another young talent from the academy, and you know, Spain have so much defensive talent. It's absolutely ridiculous. Under 21. You know, the future of Spanish football in terms of national team is sorted if they got Kubasi and Howson from Bournemouth in as a centre-back pairing. That's ridiculous. But in terms of today, I respect Atletico. Because despite the fact that, you know, many people, even I myself, I thought 4-2, 80-something minute, I thought the game was done. But the game is never over with Atletico. To keep kind of at it, to kind of press and exploit that high line under Hansi Flick. I don't think, you know, when you look at what Real Madrid maybe struggled with in the 2 games that they played Barcelona this season, and then just look at the performances from Atletico against Barcelona, I think Diego Simeone has kind of found some hacks and found some ways to take advantage of the high line. And the high line, for me, if you're going to play a high line, especially against, you know, teams that are going to sit back and counter you, you have to, there's no room for error. The margin for error is very, very small. And today, Atletico were able to exploit that. But I still think, I'm still going to edge Barcelona for it, because, you know, with Barcelona, the only thing they have to do is keep outscoring their opponents. And we know this season, they're a team that can score a lot of goals. So I definitely think they're probably capable of getting to the final. But let me know your thoughts down below. Listen, who is your man of the match? Because I'm sticking with Pedri. Rafinha has a shout, but I'm sticking with Pedri. So let me know your thoughts down below. Who is your man of the match? Be sure to hit the like button, and if you're new here, please do subscribe.